Okay, here we are on November the 1st. We made it. Made it past Halloween, November the 1st in the year of our Lord 2025. And as usual, I've got a lot of great information for you. Let's just go ahead and click over here, Murtech on Rumble. All right, this is my Rumble channel, and this is the video we're watching tonight, episode 1733, my live stream. Let's go ahead and get into that. Let me tonight this, close out the live chat, slide down here, click the show more button to expand out the description box. We have information from ACLJ Sekulow, The Real Adogg, Doug in Exile, and Viva Frei. But before we get into that, I do have some shout outs to give, quite a few. All right, Artistic12 just started following my channel. EOE1 just started following my channel. Janie J9 Row just started following my channel. Grandma Jetta just started following my channel. KKM4 just started following my channel. And Sane Poster just started following my channel. So thank you very much, folks, for following my channel. I greatly appreciate that. I hope you're tuned in, and I hope you enjoy the content. All right, we have some Debbie BS here, reposted my episode 1731, and Debbie BS reposted my episode 32. Da Agsta and Foxy Grandma and Debbie BS commented on my episode 1732. Debbie BS commented also on my extra 517A, 517B, and 517C. So thank you, folks, for your comments, and thank you for reposting my video. Let me give this a thumbs up. Boom. Okay, and let me jump up here and show you that right below the video that you're watching right now, I have one of those thumbs up icons. So if you'd like to scroll down and click that, that would be fantastic. Okay, ACLJ Sekulow breaking major Halloween attack plan stopped by FBI. That's interesting. I'm sure that they were mean to people by stopping a Halloween attack, but let's see what that's all about.
The FBI has been hard at work, and you know what? We can actually say that for once. The FBI, we have found out, has thwarted what would have been a potentially large terrorist attack in Dearborn, Michigan, or in the Michigan area. This was planned for tonight. This was planned for a Halloween attack. A tweet, a X post, if you will, came out this morning.
Appreciate it.
From Kash Patel. It said, this morning, the FBI thwarted a potential terrorist attack and arrested multiple subjects in Michigan who are allegedly plotting a violent attack over Halloween weekend. More details to come, thanks to the men and women of the FBI and law enforcement everywhere standing guard 24/7 and crushing our mission to defend the homeland. The FBI spokesperson confirmed this. The federal agents were in Dearborn and Inkster, Michigan last night. We want to assure our residents there's no threat to the community. And then he puts to have a happy and safe Halloween weekend. So this, again, is a big moment for the FBI to, of course, look, the idea of celebrating thwarting a terrorist attack, the fact that we are even having to do this is sad in general, but we know that this is probably happening a lot more than we even are aware of all the time. And this was a big enough one to cause enough stir to at least go out there and say it. But as you were, and Will and I were talking earlier, this at least should be giving you a bit more trust in this current iteration of the FBI.
Well, and I think that's why it's important for statements like this to be released. Yes, we don't know how many times maybe in the past that the FBI thwarted a terror attack
a lot.
And didn't publicize it. But the difference here is that people lost their faith in the institution so much over the last 4 years that these statements are necessary, because I don't feel like it's assumed anymore that the FBI is out there doing actual law enforcement, stopping terror attacks on the U.S. homeland. And it's a breath of fresh air when you see the director come out and say this and say, here's what we did. There was law enforcement activity. They've arrested individuals, and they have said there's no longer, we consider, a threat to the community in Michigan over Halloween weekend. I don't know that people would have felt the same way, even if they were coming out with those statements under the previous FBI. We know, I know you talked about yesterday, the Arctic Frost investigation. That's what the FBI was spending their time on. under the past 4 years, under the last administration. They were going on witch hunts, and no pun intended on Halloween, but they were going on witch hunts. They were looking for ways to combat their political enemies, not stopping terror. Now, that's not to say they didn't stop terror, but the American people lost that faith in the FBI to do their core mission.
And they have to, we got to build back better. Well, that's what the trust in the FBI.
That's what it is? Is that the slogan?
That's the slogan of the new FBI. Kash Patel trademarked that. But when you look at what's happening here, and in Dearborn, Michigan, where we know that, not only is it a thriving community of people from all over the world, but there's obviously a thriving Islamic community there. But what we know about that's not to diminish that. We also know the rhetoric that has come out of that specific area. And that's even beyond just an area of your town that happens to have a larger group of people who are Muslim. It is not about that. This has been an area that has been really a hotbed for a lot of issues. Now, we don't know who was arrested.
Right.
I don't want to just purely speculate. But of course, that is where people's minds are headed.
And when you also, like you said, you brought up that we will know more details when the filings come out, when there's charging documents and things like that that we will see eventually. But that these arrests were made. The fact that it is a Halloween attack, like the New Year's Eve attacks, things like that, the people that are out in big crowds on New Year's Eve are typically adults that are out partying and doing revelry and things like that. But when you think about Halloween, as you brought up, that the easy targets where there could be people gathered together would typically be something that would have more children involved. And that is where you start to think about the worst case scenarios that the FBI was able to thwart here. And I actually want to take Hunter on line one, calling from Ohio, because he makes a good point that I want to piggyback off of. Hunter from Ohio, you're listening on the radio and you're on Sekulow.
Yeah, I just wanted to call in and comment. The work that Kash Patel is doing is phenomenal, because it's really just going down to basic ground police work and making the country safer. And he's being as transparent as he's able to be, as is the administration. Especially with investigations, you can only be so transparent when you're actively, looking out these threats. As far as like the threats coming from Dearborn, as you were saying, it's a hotbed right now, and it's in the news, and it's not going to be good publicity for it. Not that it's had good publicity in the past, but the terrorist attack specifically towards children is a very because what's going to be the next thing to cause more division in this country and to sow more the seeds of division is attacks on children. It's a very
Hunter, I agree with you. I believe, once again, a lot of times the purpose of terror, knowing that a one-off attack or however it may reveal itself isn't necessarily going to bring down the country, right? It's going to be a horrific tragedy. But the attacks that Islamic radicals have been able to pull off on the United States aren't to the scale or purpose of something like 9/11. Now I feel like they are more to sow fear, to spread more discord, and to tear the country apart internally. And something like that would have a large effect, as Hunter brought up. But I also wanted to bring up what he said earlier, that it's great to see the job that Kash Patel is doing in the police work. A lot of times Kash Patel, even in the conservative circle, gets the criticism from the right of bad political actors that were, many of them, it very much looks like there were criminal activity or at least conspiracy activity under the previous administration and beyond. If we're only focused on that, and that's the only thing Kash Patel is focused on is accountability for those people, which I think is important, and we're seeing a lot of that come out, then he's not doing any better than the Christopher Wrays and the James Comeys. Because at the end of the day, that's not the only thing the FBI needs to be focused on. The FBI needs to be focused on stopping these things from happening. And I'm glad that he's showcasing it and saying, here's what we did. We have thwarted a terror attack. He's done this multiple other times where they've gone out and showcased the actual police work of the FBI, because that is the purpose of the FBI. I don't want it to just be investigating the things that happen under Arctic frost. I want to see that. Yeah. I want there to be teams dedicated to that. But if that's the entirety of the FBI, like it appears under
politics.
the previous administration, then it isn't keeping us safe. And I want the FBI to be an institution that keeps America safe, not that just finds out the corruption in previous administrations. Both are important, but they have to be able to do both at the same time.
Yeah, I think that's true. And I think also what happens if you start talking about these a little more publicly, it does, as we know, scare other people who are interested in doing damage and harm and terrorism to the United States, because it puts them on warning that there is the FBI ready to come and get them and arrest them even before their events happen. So, of course, part of thwarting terror is stopping other terror. So you put out these statements and guess what? Here's what happens. So if anyone's thinking about doing anything this weekend, you better watch out, because the FBI is watching very, very closely. So again, you don't want to say chalks up to a win, but it is something that we need to be looking at as at least a reignition of our FBI, to where you feel good about what they're doing and the work they're doing and keeping us safe. You're right. It's important to have all of those sort of more political arms too, to make sure that we are keeping everyone in check, but that can't be the majority of the work that they're doing. And of course, it seems like Kash Patel and Dan Bongino have done that. There have been, obviously, with all FBIs, they're really all departments of government, there will always be blunders. There will always be issues. These are major organizations who employ lots of people. But it is nice to see when there is this kind of proven win. We are so excited to announce the ACLJ's brand new app, completely redesigned to provide.
Okay, let me go ahead and pause it there. Let me, great information on the FBI, that who knows what kind of damage that would have caused, and publicity and maybe rioting all over the country. And you know how the Democrats like to stir things up. Let me go ahead and click on the Rumble link here and show you that this video does come from American Center for Law and Justice. I am following their channel. I'm giving them a thumbs up. I hope you do the same thing for me. All right, let's jump back here. And before we move on with some information from Daryl Adogg, this is the 1st of November. So let me show you this creator program starting in November 1st. Okay, they kind of keep track, Rumble does, of what I'm doing here, how well I'm promoting this information. And if I fill up all these bars here, then they will help promote my information out. In other words, hours streamed from Rumble Studio this month, I need 30. I've already, on the first day, 10.8 hours. Okay, hours watched this month, I need 200 already. The first day, I've got 170. Total unique chatters this month, I need 20. Right now, I have 1. Debbie BS. Let me jump back over here and show you that the Debbie BS, and you can even see it on the screen, Debbie BS has started the chat out. So I've got, 18 people watching, 15 people watching. So if I could get you folks to just give me a chat, say hello or whatever, say hi, just give me a chat so I can get this unique chatters this month. Okay, also Rumble Premium exclusive hours. I'm going to do my daily news wrap up on exclusive. I need 5 hours, so that shouldn't be a problem. And Rumble Studio host read campaigns, I need 5. I've got 0 right now, but I'm getting ready to jump into a host read campaign right now to try to meet that objective. So here we go. Let's get some information here from Rumble Premium itself and see what they have to say.
If you haven't already, make sure you download the Rumble app. It's free, simple to use, and the best way to stay connected to the content you want.
Once you've got it, search for my channel and hit follow. That way, you'll get a notification every time we go live, no missed shows, no extra steps.
You can grab it right now using the link in the description or the pinned live chat. Download it to your phone, and you're ready to go.
And if you prefer watching on the big screen, Rumble is available on all major streaming devices and smart TVs. Just search for Rumble, follow the channel, and be part of the action.
All right, there we have it. Okay, let me jump back over here and share my screen. There we go. Now, here we go. The real Adogg. Oh my gosh. OMG, Trump has had it. And to deport Zohran Mamdani back to his country after discovering he did this. Sounds interesting. Let's see what that's all about.
Let's go ahead and dive straight into this. So I want to show y'all this right here. Let's start off with communist Zohran Mamdani and how people now are turning on him. Check this out by MAGA Boy. He said, happening now, people are marching in New York City chanting, say no to Zohran Mamdani. New York City is waking up. Check it out.
USA! 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 No communist! No communism! No communist! Our churches! New York City will not have communism! We will not elect a communist mayor! Cuomo for mayor of New York City! If you don't vote for Cuomo, you can't vote for mayor! He is a liar! His religion allows him to lie! Wait till he gets into New York City will not have communism! No to communism! United! America! 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 USA!
Now you see how upset these people is, and now it's getting, like I said, worse and worse for Zohran Mamdani because he don't need to be the mayor of New York City. Check this out. Say breaking. President Trump just ended Zohran Mamdani's career in one sentence. Let's go. President Trump said the more people learn about Mamdani, the less they like him. Now, I even did a video the other day where I showed a young lady who pretty much broke down everything about Zohran Mamdani and why should nobody trust him.
You know what gets me? The fact that nobody seems to know what Mamdani actually said, and so he gets away with saying stuff like this.
I have never, not once, spoken in support of global jihad.
He has actually plainly confessed his support for global jihad in the 2008 landmark case, US versus the Holy Land 5. 5 people were convicted of providing material support to Hamas by way of millions and millions and millions of dollars in violation of federal law while disguising it behind charity. Those 5 people were sentenced to 65 years in a federal correctional facility. They were called the Holy Land 5. In 2017, under the pseudonym Mr. Cardamom, Mamdani himself drops a rap song in which he states, "My love to the Holy Land 5. Okay, my love to the people who funneled millions to Hamas, you better look them up. Now I know you're thinking maybe his views have changed. It's been several years. His views have not changed. When he was recently asked, do you think that Hamas should lay down its weapons? That's it. His answer was that he had no opinion. When you have openly supported the funneling of millions of dollars to Hamas, and since then they have committed a massacre that killed 1,200 Israelis and have shot and killed Palestinians at point blank range, and you now have no opinion on whether they should disarm, that's another way of saying, I support the terrorists. And that couldn't be clearer. And you know what worries me as an Iranian? The fact that this is the exact path that led to the revolution in Iran. It was this exact marriage of socialism and Islamism that we are now seeing people fall for again here. That also started by dividing society into oppressed and oppressor, mustakbirin and mustasafin. And the oppressor was, guess who? The elite, the wealthy, the ruling class that had to be eliminated for justice and utopia to prevail. Guess what were all of the promises made by Khomeini? Free transportation, free electricity, free water. Nobody should go unhoused. The same utopian false promises that have led to death, destruction, devastation, gulags, labor camps, everywhere that it's touched. How do we know that this is identical to every other iteration in human history? Because what ends in totalitarianism starts at its core. And what is at the core of totalitarianism? It's absolutism. What is absolutism? It is a binary. What is a binary? Oppressed and oppressor. What does that lead to? It leads to dehumanizing everybody on the wrong side of the binary. What does that lead to? Calling for the elimination of the oppressor. What have we been celebrating for the past few years in the United States? The elimination of the oppressor. That is how we are walking the path to totalitarianism, and we literally cannot see it. Do you know why we can't see it? Because do you think totalitarianism introduces itself as such? Of course it doesn't. When it knocks on your door, it calls itself liberation.
So, let's carry on right here. So, if you can see, it said, break, the New York City Patriot just pleaded with President Trump to revoke the citizenship of Zohran Mamdani and his father. Check this out.
In America, I asked President Donald J. Trump to ban Sharia law in America, in Puerto Rico, and across all U.S. territories.
You don't like our laws? Get the out of America!
Assimilate or leave. This is not hate. What we say is with truth and love. We will not be silent. You will not use the Constitution against us. You will not use your religion against us. Practice your religion, but it's not going to supersede America, the Constitution, and the people that we are. We love the melting pot. This is America, and it's going to stay that way. If you can't assimilate, you got to go. That's it. You got to go. Thank you.
Thank you.
No communismo. No communismo.
And they even had a sign that said Zohran Scam Dunny, because he's a scam artist.
No communists. We want the police. We need you guys. We need the police. No communists. We need the police.
And that was another thing. You hear her saying we need the police because Zohran Scam Dunny is talking about, defund the police, like I said, legalizing prostitution, like all type of weird stuff. Like, that is insane. Then he talking about defund the police. The man don't even like police. This is crazy.
President Donald J. Trump, I asked President Donald J. Trump to revoke the citizenship of Zohran Mamdani and his father, Mamdani. Have them removed from America as soon as possible. Thank you. God bless New York, and God bless.
And y'all heard that. So like I said, it's been heating up since last week. Now, I definitely wanted to show y'all this about Mayor Rudy Giuliani. He spoke on this right here about Zohran Scam Dunny.
You don't have enough damn respect for the people who died and suffered because of 9/11 to tell the truth about it? What the hell are you doing running for mayor of anything? You do not have enough decency, Mamdani, to tell the truth about 9/11, and you want to be mayor of New York City? Because in what you said and in the elaborate lie you made up, you dishonored not only the memory of all who died on September 11, but of all who suffered from September 11, who lost fathers and mothers and uncles and brothers and best friends, who almost died themselves and who are suffering now with illnesses that will take their lives. And that's the final word on you, Mamdani. You don't have enough.
Wow. And that's coming from Rudy Giuliani. Salute to Rudy Giuliani. Now, this is the letter I wanted to show y'all that right here say, just in, Representative Andy Oaks just formally asked Attorney General Bundy to revoke Zohran Mamdani's citizenship and deport him back to Uganda. Mamdani was openly supporting terror organizations prior to becoming a citizen, making him ineligible. Sent him back, and of course, this is the letter right here that he sent to Pam Bundy. And now we are waiting to hear back from Pam Bundy about this. And we heard what President Trump then said about him. It's like, this is crazy. Look at this break. And Zohran Mamdani fiercely attacks J.D. Vance remarks about people wanting to live only among those who share their language. I mean, this dude right here is a clown, man. I don't see the reason why anybody should vote for Zohran Mamdani. So now you see it's heating up. It's been heating up since last week, as now President Trump is trying to move to deport deport him before this election because he don't need to be the mayor of New York City. And of course, like I said, you see people are now marching in New York. They are waking up. More videos are coming out about this man of who he really is. That's the reason why the Democrats is keeping the government shut down. I guess they're trying to wait till they try to elect this communist and then reopen the government. So we got more news on that because President Trump seemed like he found another way to try to open up the government. And we're going to get straight to it in just a minute. So right here by Eric Dollar, he said, holy crap, President Trump has just demanded Senate Republicans to nuke the filibuster. He's done. Trump says Democrats would do it the moment they get back in power. It is now time for Republicans to play their Trump card and go for what is called the nuclear option. Get rid of the filibuster and get rid of it now. In addition to all of the other things we will get, such as the best judges, the best U.S. attorneys, the best of everything. This was a concept from years ago. And then President Barack Hussein Obama and former Majority Leader Harry Reid, in order to take advantage of the Republicans. Now, I want to do it in order to take advantage of the Democrats. He's planning to win and destroy their opponent. This means you don't need 60 votes to reopen the government.
All right, folks. There you have it. Now, I don't know if this will happen or not. We'll see. I know there's a lot of pushback on this because, believe it or not, the Republicans won't stay in power forever. The Democrats will find a way to steal their way into power, and this could be very damaging. But at any rate, let me scroll down here and show you this video does come from the real Adogg. I've given him a thumbs up. I am subscribed to his channel. I hope you do the same thing for me. Okay, let's jump back here, and thank you, Tiff7799, for your chat. I greatly appreciate that. But let's scroll down here and move on with Doug in Exile. Breaking: CBS News hosts fired amid total anti-woke purge. Alrighty, well, let's see what Doug has to say about that.
First headline is that the MAGA curious TV boss at CBS, that would be Bari Weiss, who we've reported a lot on. She acts as the entire shows in a jobs bloodbath. This is from the Daily Beast. Now, here's some of the staffers here. I know two of these people got canned. I'll show you which ones they are. But my biggest thing is no one recognizes them. They've been working for CBS for 20 years, and no one recognizes these people, not household names, okay? The new boss of CBS News, anti-woke opinion journalist, Bari Weiss. And Bari Weiss, I've actually enjoyed the news on her podcast. We listened to her podcast called Honestly. Now, she's a lesbian, and I condemn that. But she's an incredible journalist. She has other people who I've known for a long time, like Brianna Wu, who is a trans man identifying as woman or whatever, who we've had some interaction before. But I'm only saying these are journalists doing their job, reporting facts, not being woke photocopiers. So though they're center left, they're going to really up the quality of news at CBS. But I always said they're not going to be able to up the quality if they keep their staff, because the staff are all corrupt Democrats. And you can't get a Democrat to fake it and pretend like they're open-minded when they're covering Trump, because they hate Trump's guts. They have Trump derangement syndrome. So no matter how much you say that you'll be honest about Trump, don't you really want some more right-leaning MAGA people who are fans reporting on Trump, reporting facts about Trump? So I knew she had to gut some people, and boy, did she do it. This is a bloodbath, guys. She axed a series of shows on Wednesday and fired dozens of staff. Bari Weiss, who was named editor-in-chief of the network when CBS's new owner, David Ellison, bought her free press website for $120 million, told staff it was an enormously difficult day. Oh, yeah, I'm sure it was really difficult that now you're going to start making money. The wider Paramount company was warned by Ellison to expect widespread firings. Now, this also has a lot to do with Trump. I know this is weird, but we covered this like a month ago, that CBS settled the lawsuit with CBS/Paramount, settled a lawsuit with Trump so that Trump would approve, the FCC would approve Federal Exchange Commission, FEC? Well, whichever one's in charge of approving and not allowing monopolies to go through, they had to approve the deal. And so I think they were trying to kiss up to the Trump administration. And part of that was getting a new owner in there to allow, I think it was Skydance that came in and bought them. So new owner that was greenlit by Trump, and then he buys Barry Weiss's company, and then Barry Weiss goes in and destroys half of CBS News. That's the trajectory of all this stuff, to give you guys the background. But it's a big deal. This is big money, and this is big marketing for the next election. We're going to lose Democrats from CBS. And right before the next two elections, 2026 and 28, they're going to get some more centrist, truth-telling reporting. That's good. Here's the biggest casualty was the entire show CBS Saturday Morning. Anyone ever watch it? I didn't even know it was on. With co-host Michelle Miller, never heard of her, and Dana Jacobson. Never heard of her. And its executive producer, Brian Applegate, all getting the axe. There's Barry Weiss getting out her axe. It's Halloween. It's a slasher film. It's a bloodbath at CBS. It looks like a haunted house. It looks like the Amityville Horror. It looks like Fangora or Famous Monsters of Filmland magazine with lots of creature makeup effects. Sources told the New York Post that the show was found to be, quote, too expensive, unquote. There you go. By Weiss and network president Tom Sabrowski. CBS News declined to comment, leaving it unclear what will air on the show's regular 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. slot this Saturday morning. How many of you want Doug in Exile to make a deal with CBS? Let's get me some. I do it for a couple $1 million a year. I think a couple $1 million a year would be fair. Miller, 57, had worked at CBS for 21 years and nobody noticed. I honestly, I have not heard of these people. This isn't like Tom Brokaw, where you knew the names. Morally Safer. This is 60 Minutes, Walter Cronkite. While Jacobson, I don't even know who they're talking about, 53, has been at the network for 11 years. And again, I never knew. So the high-profile exits follow the resignation on Monday of CBS Evening News anchor John Dickerson, who had worked at CBS for 16 years. Okay, we're going to get to more. Let me get to another article here real quick, because we're going to get to pictures of the people that were canned. You can tell me if you recognize about that. CBS News fires 2 more stars as mainstay of weekend schedule is targeted after 28 years on the air. CBS News, Saturday Morning News. So there they are. Canned. Now, do any of you recognize these people? This lady on the left, look, these are pretty ladies and a handsome man. I think I would remember them. I don't think I've seen them once. Now, maybe a news person isn't supposed to be that big of a star, but CBS morning anchors on the left, Michelle Miller, Dana Jacobson on the right, have been fired as part of the layoffs. And there's Barry Weiss, axe murderer on Halloween. Here's more for the New York Post. Now, everyone is freaking out about Israel. All the anti-Jew, anti-Semite, the Jews in Israel are manipulating America and pulling the strings. All the magic conspiracy theories. I got some people in my audience. Don't unsubscribe. You're not in a freaking cult. They're starting to cast aspersions. Why did Barry Weiss, and Weiss is a Jewish name, right? Why, and she's always been pro-Israel. Why did she not fire the other pro-Israel one? That's New York Post. Is there a conspiracy here? Did the CIA contact you and the Mossad? Are you under pay of the Rockefellers and the Cheneys? CBS News boss Barry Weiss saved pro-Israel reporter's job after he lobbied her directly. I'll tell you why you might want to keep this guy around. Because most reporters, being Democrats, are anti-Israel. So you fire them all and you keep probably the only pro-Israel reporter in all of news media. Do you think that might be valuable to CBS to have one reporter on staff that's pro-Israel? Think about it. I think it's a smart move. CBS News editor-in-chief Barry Weiss intervened to save the job of a foreign correspondent after he complained of being sidelined because of his strong support for Israel, opting to fire a reporter who's irked U.S. ambassador to Israel, Mike Huckabee, instead. So they canned an anti-Mike Huckabee guy again. supporting and protecting conservatives on the right. This is a good move for Bari Weiss. She should be applauded, not condemned, the Post has learned. So this other Weiss axed Deborah Pata, a 12-year veteran based in South Africa, during sweeping cuts during the Tiffany Network. The move came after Rome-based correspondent Chris Livesey appealed directly to Weiss, complaining of his mistreatment and asking to be assigned as Israel correspondent. That's their punishment. He's going like, look, I'll even cover Israel on this anti-Semitic Democrat network. I'm even willing to go to a war zone. Sources told Post on Friday, and she wisely made a move. I think that's good product to keep him. We're going to get back to more of the CBS bloodbath. Okay. But first, I want to get into the membership. This is something I've just thought about. It's just, I got moral clarity very quickly. I'm going to read this comment to you. I crossed out their name because I'm not trying to make trouble for them, but I just want you guys to picture being in my shoes reading this and tell me what you feel. Your members area isn't fair to us who've been here since the start of the channel and can't afford it. We deserve the videos as well. We got you where you are, and then you leave us behind. At least make them pay for just a limited time. Now, there's a lot of things I disagree with about this. You don't get to choose what I do and what I don't do because you have followed me and got me here. You did get me here. You don't get to choose if I make a video. However, and I'm not here to make the channel fair either, but I'm going to tell everyone I'm no longer putting up exclusive content for paid memberships. And I would encourage anyone who's paying for a membership, if you are here for exclusive content, there's a lot. I'm going to give you other reasons why I can't do that exclusive content or shouldn't do it. It really harms the channel. So I want to encourage all of you that are paid members, you can unsubscribe and unpay. YouTube makes it very easy to reverse your membership. If you don't, I'm going to leave the memberships open. You can continue to pay me all you want, okay? I'm not promising exclusive content anymore. And I pushed it pretty hard. I said, look, there's going to be exclusive videos. I did one just this morning when I woke up at like 5:30. I went live, put it behind the private membership thing. And tonight I was going to do a date night. I might still do it just as the final episode because some of you guys are paying $20 a month to go on date nights with Angie and I. We might carve a pumpkin tonight, but I really can't do that content anymore. And I'll tell you why. There's a lot of reasons why this has to happen. Number one, it's true. I really want to serve everyone, including the poor on my channel. I love having rich people in my audience. I love having poor people in my audience. I love having middle-class people in my audience. I don't like differentiating my channel out between income levels. I just think I'm here to entertain everyone. So if I'm doing this exclusive content in the morning for my members to try and justify getting their money, that's just a very different job than me bringing you the news. You know what I mean? Where you watch a commercial on YouTube and it pays me fine. So I don't need more money. So I don't need to hide stuff behind a paywall. So then you might ask, so what I really want to do is more videos for free, you don't have to pay for. And the membership people that pay extra, you can pay extra if you want, whatever. I don't want to discourage the rich from paying me or people who have the means that want to help us out. I appreciate that, but never feel bad about unsubscribing to that membership and going, I just can't afford it or I don't want to do it. I hope you can tell I'm totally cool with that. The reason why I can't do a bunch of live streams of just me goofing around the house is because if I didn't limit it to just the members, where only say 50 people will watch it and say everyone starts watching it instead, then my three main videos that are my main job and the main success of this channel every day, my three main videos, you won't get notifications for all three. And then suddenly the views will go down. So that's the trap that I'm in right now. And the way that I'm breaking that trap is, to me, I protect the channel and the news and the main thing that we're all doing no matter what. And so what this viewer did is flush out a weakness in the membership, and I've had this comment, a couple of people going, I really want to see your membership and I just can't afford it. And that breaks my heart. I don't ever want someone who can't afford something to come on this channel and go, he's not here to entertain me. He's here to give it to people that pay him. So that's over. I'm just not going to post more exclusive stuff, at least for now. So now I've got 170 members paying a monthly fee. Again, back out if you want, guys. If you want to support the channel, continue to support. Let's get back to the news. I've dilly-dallied enough. Here's page 6. Stern, Gayle, this is part of the CBS firings, right? Now, Stern Gayle King fires back at claim that she's leaving CBS Mornings. They want me here, she says. Now, Gayle King actually is a celebrity. I like her, actually. She's a celebrity, and we have heard of her. So there's rumors that she was getting canned. She's not getting canned. So CBS is keeping some of their stars. Gayle King sternly fired back at a recent report claiming she's exiting CBS Mornings. The longtime anchor was spotted leaving the morning show's New York City studio Friday and said the report is contradictory to what the network has been telling her. All I can say is this. From what I'm being told inside the building, all I've been told by everybody in this building is that they want me here. They like the job I'm doing. I like the job I'm doing. I'm with you, Gayle King. I like the job I'm doing. And by the way, she's 70 years old. Look how good this woman looks. She looks fantastic. She told an inquiring TMZ pap. Now, you know, in Hollywood or in New York in the newsroom, they could just be smiling to your face and going, we really want to keep you. Then the next day they go, oh, by the way, you're fired. You know, that's how it works also. But I just want to say, not everyone in the bloodbath, you know, is going to be released. She's very famous. We at least recognize her. So the other people that are going away, I don't even know who they are. But Gayle King, rumor was she's going to get canned. And now we find out she's not getting canned. And one of the reasons why I like her, this kind of tells the whole story. This is Gayle King on an airplane. You know who she's sitting next to? Jesse Waters. They probably in first class. There's a little curtain back there to keep the peasants out, to keep the people that can't pay for memberships out of first class. But there's Gayle King and Jesse Waters smiling. I like seeing this because they have respect and integrity for being news people. They love their work ethic that she's not going to go, you work for Fox, you're terrible. Here's the CBS News' Gayle King posted a photo. So she even posted the photo of her sitting next to Fox News' Jesse Waters on a flight. The anchor wrote, 2 TV people from competing networks walk onto a plane, and to the surprise of them both, they're seated right next to each other for over 4 hours. How did it go? Speaking for Jesse Waters here, a good time was had by all. Hi, Jesse. Saving your number. I wanted to leave on that happy note today because though there's a bloodbath at CBS, I think they're keeping some good journalists over there too. Thank you guys for subscribing. Thank you to the members that have supported us up to this point. You're wonderful to me. I'm going to keep bringing you guys the news. I want my news to be there absolutely for everybody. I don't want anyone to feel left out. I'm here to work hard for all of you, and I love doing it. Like Gayle King said, I have the best job in the world. I'm incredibly happy doing this.
All right, there you go, Doug. And this video does come from Doug in Exile. I am subscribed to his channel. I've given him a thumbs up. And I pretty much have the same philosophy as Doug does. I do have a Rumble and Locals channel. I have a Locals channel, but everything that I produce on Locals is produced on Rumble as well. And I even share this out to Facebook and my live streams to YouTube and also Truth Social. So my videos are out there for everybody to see because my main objective is to give people no nonsense, common sense, logic, and truth, which is what they're not going to get from the mainstream media and the lying deep state swamp and Democrats. So that's why I'm doing this, is to get the truth out. And the more people I get the truth out to, the better off we all are. Okay, let's jump back here. And looks like I've got another chat here from John Tremblay1 from Quebec. Great to have you here. How's the weather up there in Canada? It's getting a little chilly here in Indiana, but thank you very much for your chat. And I've got my little icon up here, live chat. So let's chat it up. I've got 26 people watching. I'd like to have some of you to jump up there and just tell me hi. Tell me where you're from, how you're doing. or how I'm doing. Okay, let's jump down here. Viva Frei, man dressed as woman, arrested recording woman showering in gym locker room. Okay, well, that's okay for some people. Some people think that's fine. And those are the people that we're trying to tell the truth about. That, it's not fine. But let's see what Viva Frei has to say about this.
Viva Frei, former Montreal litigator turned current Florida Rumbler, in my home office with a story that really tests the limits of the absurdity of the whole 2S LGBTQIA plus movement. I mean, this case takes gender fluidity to the next level. A man dressing up like a woman, going into the woman's locker room so that he could videotape people in the bathroom. Record people in the bathroom. I'm showing my age a little bit. And now he's getting arrested, and I'm sure he's thinking, what's the big deal? I've seen thousands of people do this on the internet. Not only were they not arrested, they were celebrated. From DC News, MCPD, man dressed as woman arrested after recording woman in gym shower. I'm sorry, did they just say a man dressed as a woman? That is totally transphobic. That was a man who, for that very brief moment in time, identified as a woman to the point where he dressed as one, and then when he got out of the bathroom, he realized he's going back to being a man. Oh wait, but that would be too absurd to be true, right? I mean, this whole gender fluidity thing means nothing else other than the fact that you are gender fluid.
Let's debunk some myths about being gender fluid. Myth number 1, you don't have to keep alternating between feminine and masculine presenting every few days or every day. Myth number 2, you don't have to use all pronouns. A lot of gender fluid people do use any and all pronouns, but not everyone, including me. Myth number 3, not all gender fluid people wake up and suddenly feel like a boy, or wake up and suddenly feel like a girl. It doesn't always work that way.
All right, sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's get to the details of this article because it's a doozy. Gaithersburg, Maryland, DC News Now. A Tacoma Park man was arrested after he was accused of sneaking into the women's gym bathroom under a disguise and recording a woman in the shower. Now detectives are searching for more victims. The Montgomery County Police Department, MCPD, said its investigation began on Friday, October 10, when officers responded to the One Life Fitness Club on Seneca Meadows Parkway in Germantown. There, a woman reported that a person had entered the woman's locker room and began recording her while she was in the shower. Through investigation, the suspect was identified as 44-year-old Chikundi Tatey. Detectives then discovered that Tatey would disguise himself as a woman to get into the women's locker room. After committing the crime, he would remove his disguise in an attempt to conceal his identity and run away. No, don't you see? He momentarily identified as a woman, and then when he left the locker room, he no longer identified as a woman, and you're a bigot for thinking anything else. And isn't it shocking that gyms would allow biological males in the women's locker room? Oh wait, I'm sorry, gyms have been priding themselves on doing this in the name of tolerance for quite some time now. In every woman there's a sacred space. Let's raise our voices, let them hear. The joy in our hearts will persevere. Join the party. Oh, and isn't it shocking that a biological male has entered the female locker room, changing room, whatever, and is recording people in the washroom? My goodness, people have been celebrated for doing this on the internet. The thing that I find most shocking about this is I don't understand the mentality of somebody who would go into a women's locker room in order to record women showering in a locker room. I mean, it seems like it would be much safer just to go online, and make use of all of the infinite amount of nudity and pornography on the internet.
Internet is really, really great.
But alas, I guess this is the nature of the criminal. It's not just about seeing naked women. It's about being in control, recording naked women when they don't know they're being recorded after you've snuck into the bathroom dressed as a woman, because somehow that has been celebrated as behavior for the last several years now. And here you have mugshots of the before and after. Men dressed as women allowed into locker rooms and gyms, priding themselves on the inclusivity and tolerance, wearing face masks so that people can't identify you in public. This is the reality of the tolerant left in America today. In other words, batshit insane.
Excuse me, what are you doing in the women's bathroom?
I'm sorry?
What are you doing in the women's bathroom?
I'm peeing.
Okay, but you're a man.
No.
Yes, you are. You are clearly a man, and you were just in the women's bathroom. Do you know how much money I pay for this school, and now there's a man in my bathroom?
Well, you should talk to the administration.
Oh, I definitely will.
Good.
But why do you feel the need to go into women's spaces as a man? No comment on that? Do you think women don't deserve their own private spaces? Nothing? Really? Do you support women's rights? No? Okay, so there's just a man in our bathroom. That's wonderful. So that the University of Tampa allows this. What are you doing?
Going to the bathroom.
Why are you in the girls' bathroom?
I'm a trans girl.
But you're not a girl.
Oh, we're doing one of these.
Yeah.
Interesting. Never had this before. I don't know what to say.
Weeks later, on October 29, investigators followed Tati to a Planet Fitness in White Oak. There, he was found in the women's locker room, masked as a woman. He was quickly apprehended and taken to the Montgomery County Central Processing Unit. Tati was charged with peeping Tom and related offenses. The MCPD urges anyone who may have been a victim of Tati to call police at 240-773-6200. Well, at least we're making progress now. It would seem that being a man dressed as a woman in a bathroom might be a source of suspicion and not a source of pride. I guess we're making baby steps. But in case anybody is wondering how this could possibly have happened, well, I guess celebrating men in women's bathrooms for the last several years might lead to some abuse by the true sociopaths and narcissists who want to go in there and victimize women. And since we're on the issue of people who support this insane policy, this institutionalized misogyny, AOC, I'm looking at you. Lest we forget the other day AOC taking to Twitter to try to shame Riley Gaines, a woman who was forced to be in a locker room with a man who identified as a woman despite his penis. AOC mocking Riley Gaines, a woman who had to be tied with a biological male because that man decided to compete in women's sports because he couldn't compete against other men. And the tolerant left, in all of their tolerance and wisdom and trust the science and follow the science, AOC takes to Twitter to try and actually shame Riley Gaines for standing up to this nonsense for several years and actually tries to make fun of her for not having a real job despite the fact that she has a job and she is a mother. Something which can't really be said for AOC, who, above and beyond being a bartender, and I don't make fun of her for that, was plucked into the position of congresswoman and herself is not a mother, and may she one day understand the beauty of what it means to be a mother and the job that goes into being a mother. But alas, the left has become a party of misogynists, homophobes, deniers of science, and facilitating this type of abuse against women. Alright, that is the vlog. If you like what I do, you know what to do. Like, share, subscribe, turn on notifications. As you can probably tell, I've got a bit of a cold, so I'm going to go bask in the ocean, gargle with the salt water, and hopefully cleanse myself a little bit, but most importantly, exercise, eat healthy, sunlight, talk to people in real life, and now you know your vlog. Peace out, peeps. Booyah!
Okay, and yes, it's interesting that he mentions the tolerant left. Yeah, they're tolerant about everything but law and order, it seems like. They're tolerant about everything except being a U.S. citizen. They're tolerant, I guess, about their lies and their lawfare. Unbelievable. Okay, let me click on this Rumble link and show you that this video does come from Viva Frei. Okay, I've given him a thumbs up. I follow his channel. I hope you do the same thing for me. And all right, folks, we've got looks like about 29 people watching here so far. Do we have any more new chats? Come on, chat it up. Let me know what you think. Help me out here with future videos and information. Speaking of that, tonight on our daily news wrap up, I'm going to have information from Redacted News. This seems like pretty interesting. The 3-Eye Atlas mystery, why NASA suddenly went on high alert. And we're going to have some information from Bannon's War Room, Benny Johnson, Charlie Kirk Show, Dinesh D'Souza, Dr. Steve Turley on the Fringe, Flyover Conservative, Megyn Kelly, Health Ranger Report, Bongino Report, Badlands Media, Awaken with JP. So I've got a good lineup here. Great information. Here we go. Let you see what we've got going on for tonight. Okay. So with that being said, let me jump back here. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and copy this live chat into a comment because, as we know, when the live stream is over, there we go. The comments just kind of evaporate into hyperspace, so I like to put the live chats in a comment so it's permanent with this video. Okay, and evaporate into hyperspace. So I like to put the. So surprised there wasn't any feedback here. And let me remind you folks that these videos that I share with you are videos that come directly from the producers, okay? I even have the links to their channels in the description box. I want to give full credit where credit is due. I don't get any commissions or royalties for sharing this information out, but I do get the satisfaction of giving you the truth so that you don't have to rely on the lying legacy media and deep state swamp. Before we move on here, I want to share some information here from Morning Kick. If you're a coffee drinker, I think you'll like this information.
Hey you, there's this video. It's from Chuck Norris. Yeah, it was insane. He's in his 80s and says he still feels like he's in his 50s.
It was pretty shocking. He had some pretty cool tips in there too on what he's doing, including these 3 foods that he avoids like the plague.
He explained all the things he was doing, and it was super simple. They're so easy, and you can do them right at home. When I first saw this, I knew I had to share this with you all.
Since what happened to Chuck could also happen for you too. But with any new method, of course, your results can vary. But the video is definitely worth checking out.
Watch his method now by clicking the link in chat or scanning the QR code on your screen. You won't believe how simple it is.
All right, getting back here to Murtech.com. Again, these videos that I shared with you are videos that I've posted on Murtech.com. Right here's the video from ACLJ Sekulow. Right down here is the video from Adogg. The video that I shared with you here's the video from Redacted that I'm going to share with you tonight on my daily news wrap-up. But I have over 55 no-nonsense, common sense, logic, and truth videos. Here's the video from Viva Frei that I shared with you. Okay, so, and Doug in Exile is right up here. This is all in alphabetical order right there. But I don't have time to share all this information with you, and that's why I have my daily news wrap-up, because I have a lot of these videos that I share here on Murtech.com that I didn't have time to share with you in this video, in my live stream podcast. I share on my daily news wrap-up, so you can get a wide range of information. The link to Murtech.com is in the description box. Okay, this is a free site. I don't ask for your name. I don't ask for your email address. I don't drop cookies on your computer. I don't have a bunch of ads popping up in your face. My whole reason for this is to get news and information out that you can depend on, that you can trust. Okay, this is your one-stop shop for information that you're not going to get from the mainstream media. All right, so with that being said, I do appreciate your time with me here. I'm going to go ahead and take a break. You can take a break, grab a cup of coffee, a donut, a sandwich, and a soft drink or a beer. Give me time to get my live stream set up in Rumble Studio, and meet me back here about 9:30. But in the meantime, as I said, I do appreciate you being with me. Hopefully, I'll get to see you again later, and may God bless.